Hey, it is your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today. And we're zooming in and focusing in a little bit more in depth on a very difficult and frustrating part of emerging through a wounding relationship with a narcissist or a psychopath. And really, that is the presence of anger, of feeling very angry, of feeling not heard, of feeling overlooked, of feeling almost like forgotten or like the lost soul. The feeling of being buried through through the rage or the quiet rage or the passive rage of a narcissist or a psychopath. And when we talk about, excuse me, when we talk about really sort of that anger, the anger comes directly from not being heard and not knowing where to go and not knowing how to support yourself. So supporting yourself is exactly that. It's supporting yourself now with what you know, who you know, and what your strengths and gifts are, and then following those and allowing those to take fruition and allowing those to take life and expansion in your life. So people can become smothered by a narcissist or a psychopath. They can become engulfed. They can become gaslighted. They can be depersonalized. They can be disempowered, disenfranchised. This creates a feeling of anger, animosity, regret. And this oftentimes is turned inward in the terms of self-sabotaging, self-medicating, drinking yourself into oblivion, drugging yourself to oblivion, eating yourself to oblivion. You're, now trying to take almost with greed. I really feel that, the over drinking and overeating it's like a type of greed that one then, you're trying to fill an empty abyss because of the fact that you haven't been heard, and you're using this as a way to buffer yourself or defend yourself or protect yourself. But what you're really doing is you're sealing in the pain. You're sealing in the anger. You're allowing it to get bottled up. You're allowing it to get, muddled up. You're cementing your anger into place. Basically, you're just feeding the fire of your anger. And then, when it's quieted down, then it's the suffocating depression. And so this is a real problem, because in a narcissistic or psychopathic relationship, you're with someone who doesn't allow you to vent, doesn't allow you to be, to speak, to smile, to feel safe, to feel secure. There's always a feeling of being angry, the target of anger, the target of belittlement, the target of criticism. I mean, they can criticize you for the smallest and minutest of things. You can't cut a carrot right. You can't make some coffee. You don't know how to drive. You don't know how to walk. You don't know how to put your hair. You don't know how to put your makeup. You don't know how to tie your shoes. You shouldn't wear those nice shoes. You should save those for a better time. You can't cut a tomato the right way. I mean, there's always going to be something that is flawed. They're the biggest flaw finders. So eventually, with enough criticism underway, if you haven't now absorbed it and then created an identity around that seed of being not good enough, of being inferior, of being inadequate, and then therefore not being unlovable, you've now then cemented that into place with, you've had to muffle the voice to continue to live. I mean, through your childhood years or your teenage years or your 20s and 30s, and now you're into the state of, wanting to explode. You feel like you're going to burst. You're feeling so unhappy, you're going to break down. You need somewhere to turn. Well, realize that is anger is your fuel to get you out of there, to get you go into another direction, to realize your life purpose, to realize your truth. And to live your truth, you must. Even if it hurts, it's scary, you're doubling over with anger, you're pissed off. Well, it's kind of like getting ready for a vacation. You better get into the 1-2 step and then get it done. Get done what you need to for yourself. The anger is trying to tell you something. It is legitimate. You need to be heard. You need to represent yourself. You need to stop backing down, and you need to step up, and you need to see clearly with what's going on, and you need to articulate clearly with what's happening. And when you're in this anger stage, do you confront the narcissist? Do you confront the psychopath? Do you call them out? Well, when you engage with them, you're just re-solidifying, the fact that you want to give them attention. That's all that they're going to perceive. If you continue to engage with them, and try to stand your ground and yell and battle and react, you're basically still saying to them loud and clear, you're still in control. Let's have it your way. Let's get into a fight. Let's rage it out. And eventually you're going to get to the point where you are sick and tired of this lifestyle. You're sick and tired of, feeling this anger seething within you and the anxiety. I mean, it's going to get old. It's going to get stupid. It's going to be like, why am I still playing these games? And then, especially at this time of my life, I mean, if you're still playing these games when you're 14, 15, 16, 18, 19, into your young 20s, okay, there you go. I mean, 20s and 30s, if you're still playing around, okay. But as you get a little bit older into your 30s, you're going to want something a little bit more stable. You're going to want to stop, throwing yourself against the wall. You're going to want to stop playing these games. You're going to want to have some acknowledgement. It's going to get to the point where the pain is great enough and you're so angry that you're not getting what you want. And you're disappointed that things aren't, why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me again? You're looking into it and you're like, I cannot believe that this is where my life is. This is the book of my life. And why am I here? You need to put down the book, that you've been reading, and you need to get out and get on with a new life. Get on with a new chapter. Get on with a new hardcover. I mean, just stop playing the games. And, the words, just stop, well, someday it's going to mount up and you're automatically just going to go. You're just going to take your shoes, take your case, and you're going to get out of there and you're going to start making it happen. You're going to start making the choices, making the decisions, and getting onto the life that you deserve. Even if that means being single, even that means moving, even that means hitting the highway. You just need to hit the highway and don't look back. You don't have to explain and justify anything. It's not an admittance of defeat. It's not an admittance of failure. It just means I am, engaging in truth. I am living in truth, and that's where life gets good. I'm in touch with life. My feet are on the ground. My bare feet are on the grass. My hands are stroking the sand. I can feel the sun on my face. I can feel the wind through my body, and it feels wonderful. I am protecting myself now. I'm getting myself booted up. And once you're able to engage in that, you can then rely on yourself. And that's the experience. That's oftentimes the lesson that needs to be learned when you're in a relationship with this person. It's like being up against, a test every single day, constantly on trial. It is not pleasant. It's like those people, they're living their life who they want to be, but there's a saying, it's better to stick it, than get stuck. So that is how they're operating. They would rather stick people with problems, issues, constant criticism. I mean, if you're criticized for every single thing, that you are, it's just not, it shows you the pathology and you need to get away. You need to cut it out. Just like if someone were to tell you, you have cancer, would you allow it to grow? Would you say, okay, how do I increase my cancer? Keep it coming. I mean, would you do that? Or would you say, yep, let's radiate this out. Let's chemo this out. Let's cut this out. What do you recommend? Let's get it out of you. It's the same thing like a toxic energy with this person who has you in seething in anger. Let's get the source out. Let's get away from it. If you allow it to be around it and soak it in, eventually you're going to have yourself to blame for this. And then you need to be mature enough to make the choices and decisions that are, that you need to make to be responsible for yourself, taking control of your finances, your health, your relationships, your future, and getting out of the fear. So if you're staying stuck in the fear, you're staying stuck in that emotional limbic brain, which can be very creative and positive when you're, when it's congruent with the prefrontal cortex, which can have a vision and a plan and can, make things happen for your future when you're living and combine, you have a congruency there, then you can, live with the emotional brain. You can plan for your future. You can say, okay, that did not work. Let's go on to what does, and then make the corrections and adjustments. And then you start surrounding yourself with the people who are energizing. You actually have eye contact with people who aren't belittling you. You actually are around people who aren't insulting you. You're actually around people who aren't trying to put you in an ugly light when you're not ugly, when you're not inferior. They're not trying to reflect back to you like a circus mirror how awful you are. It's time to get out of the fun house, the illusion house of the narcissist. It's time to not go there anymore. Don't buy your ticket to go there. I'm not going on that ride. I'm not going through that horror show. I'm just not going. I'm now going to step out and then create my life and my identity and my feelings and my know-how with a new course, a new blueprint that's now taking me somewhere else. Because a lot of people, when they're living in the anger, they find themselves in some place they don't want to be. They are literally on the map of their life, and life is now taking them to, Smith Street and Jones Street, and you're at a corner on Radcliffe Hill or whatever it is. You don't want to be there. You're like, how did I get here? What, it's just like you went through a bullet train in your life, and you're now angry, you're upset, you're feeling lost, you're feeling displaced. Well, it's time to say, you know what, maybe this is not the place for me. I'm feeling this anger because I'm so sick of being either smothered with their needs, or engulfed in their needs, or dependent on fulfilling their needs. Like, I have to, some people can live a life of mediocrity and miserableness and continue their life fighting to the bitter end. I mean, that will be their life. And until you make the choice, the decision to say, I deserve better, I deserve it now, and you shut it all down and you're gone, boom, done, you then begin to develop the wherewithal to keep yourself independent and liberated and providing for yourself financially, emotionally, physically, psychologically, spiritually. You're getting yourself the support that you need. You're now getting yourself there. You're taking yourself there. But until you listen to the anger and what it's telling you, and even if that is telling you no, then you need to heed the voice. Don't let anger consume you and keep you stuck in a place where you don't want to stay or you don't belong. This is your buddy, Peace and Harmony, with you here today, and I hope that these videos do help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.